Keith Lee becomes the #1 contender for the WWE title. Vince Russo shares his opinion on Brodie Lee not getting the 10-bell salute, and CM Punk and Mick Foley donate their merch sales for next month to the Huber family. Hello everyone, Jose G here bringing you today's top stories in today's SK Wrestling News Roundup. Keith Lee earns a WWE Championship match against Drew McIntyre on Raw. Keith Lee defeated Sheamus in an opening match of Monday Night Raw to become the #1 contender for the WWE Championship. Lee came out on top in a grueling match against the Celtic Warrior. He will face Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship next week on Raw Legends Night. The segment began with McIntyre addressing the crowd about last week's actions where Sheamus attacked Keith Lee after the match. This would lead to both Sheamus and Keith Lee coming down to the ring to discuss what happened that night. However, during a short discussion between Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre, the Celtic Warrior would hit Lee with 2 bro kicks before the bell rang. Sheamus looked like he had the advantage throughout the first half of the match thanks to his attack before the bell. There were some great spots in the match, including a moment where Sheamus had a near fall after hitting Keith Lee with a white noise. However, Keith Lee came out on top after tackling on Sheamus, turned things in his favor during the second half of the match. The match would end after Keith Lee would hit a big spirit bomb on Sheamus, pinning him for the 3 count. Following his victory, Keith Lee would confront Drew McIntyre, who had been watching the match from the announce table. However, we still don't know if things are done between Lee and Sheamus. The Miz gets his Money in the Bank contract briefcase back. In a shocking turn of events, The Miz has just got back his Money in the Bank contract. Following a supposed failed cash-in at TLC, The Miz petitioned to have the Money in the Bank briefcase returned to him after it was made aware that it was not he who cashed it in. He cited that it was John Morrison and not him who handed over the briefcase. It looks like his petition was heard as WWE official Adam Pearce handed the briefcase back to the A-lister. The Miz had originally cashed in his contract at TLC during Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles' match. However, he failed in his attempt after McIntyre hit the Claymore kick on him and climbed up the ladder to retain his title. With the Money in the Bank contract returned, The Miz can now once again set his sights on Drew McIntyre and the WWE Championship. However, surely The Miz will be a bit more cautious this time around and make sure that he who hands over the case to the referee. Vince Russo shares his honest opinion on Brodie Lee not getting the 10-bell salute on Raw in this Sportskeeda Wrestling exclusive. WWE paid tribute to Brodie Lee, formerly known as Luke Harper, with a graphic to open this week's Monday Night Raw. Several WWE superstars paid homage to the former Intercontinental Champion throughout the Raw episode. However, unlike a few other deceased wrestlers who got a 10-bell salute, with Pat Patterson being a recent example, Brodie Lee wasn't given an honor on Raw. A former WWE superstar wasn't too pleased with the company's Raw tribute, and several fans have also voiced their displeasure on social media after the latest episode of Raw. On the latest edition of SK Wrestling's Legion of Raw with Dr. Chris Featherstone and Vince Russo, Russo spoke about the confusion surrounding the 10-bell salute in professional wrestling. Vince Russo wasn't sure about how the decision is made about who gets the 10-bell salute and who does not. Here's a clip from Legion of Raw with Dr. Chris Featherstone and Vince Russo here on SK Wrestling.
You know, one thing, you know, I swear, Chris, nobody really talks about things like this, but these are things I think we need to talk about, okay? Mm-hmm. Bro, how do we determine who gets a 10-bell salute and who doesn't?
That's a good point.
You know, that really bothers me because you always hear wrestlers talk about, oh, bro, we're a family, we're a fraternity. Mm-hmm. Bro, how do you decide who gets the 10-bell and who doesn't? We know the great Pat Patterson passed away a couple of weeks ago. Pat got the 10-bell salute.
Yeah.
Luke Harper gets a photo. Yeah. You know, China got a photo. Mm-hmm. I never understood this, bro. This really is a community, a tight-knit fraternity community. There aren't a lot of people that can say I was a professional wrestler for a living. Yep. I made money wrestling. Mm-hmm. And I have a problem with that. It doesn't take a long time. So how do we decipher who gets one? Like what, bro? You're this guy's worthy of a 10 bell and that guy's not worth. I never understood it. Just do the 10 bell. Do 100%. It. If they're in the fraternity, bro, even, okay, if they worked for you at one time, just do it. It doesn't take a lot of time. Bro, you could even pre-record it before the show even starts. Mm-hmm. Just roll it in and then get right into the show. Yep. But to me, how do you decipher who gets that and who doesn't?
You can watch full episodes of Legion of Raw on YouTube and on our Facebook watch page. Is Booker T teasing a return to WWE in 2021? With the WWE Royal Rumble right around the corner, it is the time of year you will see many WWE legends and Hall of Famers tease a comeback to the squared circle. The WWE Universe loves a good Royal Rumble surprise and a returning legend. If it's even just for one night, it always brings joy to wrestling fans all over the world. The latest tease comes from none other than the two-time WWE Hall of Famer and former World Heavyweight Champion, Booker T. The WCW legend took to social media to post a photo of him looking absolutely jacked. Plenty of fans took notice that Booker T definitely looks to be in wrestling shape and might in fact be looking to a return to a WWE ring in 2021. When one fan asked Booker T about having one more match, he simply replied the tried and true wrestler response, never say never. A spot in the Royal Rumble would be perfect place for Booker T to return without having to go through a full-blown match. CM Punk and Mick Foley donate their merch sales to Brodie Lee's family. CM Punk has decided that all proceeds from any of his Pro Wrestling Tees merch sales for next month will be given to Brodie Lee's family. Pro Wrestling Tees confirmed this decision via their Twitter account, this being done followed by the tragic demise of Brodie Lee. This is an incredible gesture from CM Punk, showing his support toward Brodie Lee's family, who are going through a rough time. WWE Hall of Famer Mick Foley also took to Twitter to show his camaraderie with Punk, announcing that he will also give his proceeds for January to John Huber's family. Brodie Lee meant a lot to the wrestling business, and that is made clear by the stories that have resurfaced from many superstars across the business. It is a tragedy we must get through, and both CM Punk and Mick Foley has chosen to help Lee's family through this with a kind gesture. Hopefully this is the first of much more to come from the wrestling community. Thanks for watching today's SK Wrestling News Roundup. For more news stories, follow us on social media. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Download the Sportskeeda app for the most up-to-date stories in the world of wrestling.